Hello, dear Cancer. Have you ever heard a quiet whisper inside your mind, so gentle it felt like a breeze, so fleeting it could have been a memory? A strange pull, not from logic, not from reason, but something deeper that made you pause, hesitate, or choose a path no one else understood? That might be your intuition, a sacred gift the universe has given to tender souls like you. Or it could be a distant echo of an old fear, a wound left unhealed, or just a ripple of emotion passing through your delicate heart. As a Cancer, you carry the deep waters within you, emotions that are never just emotions. Every subtle shift in your heart can open a doorway to something more. Symbols, messages, a spiritual pull, or even a truth too quiet for words. But because of that depth, it's also easy to get lost, to wonder, can I really trust this feeling? Is this my inner truth, or am I just afraid again? Today, we walk this tender path together. With the guiding light of the High Priestess, the silent guardian of sacred wisdom, we will ask the question, is what you're feeling a divine calling, or just a beautiful illusion your heart created to protect itself? And slowly, you'll begin to realize the answer has never been outside of you. It's been waiting quietly within you all along, waiting for you to believe it. So, take a slow, deep breath, let the noise fade away, and step gently into the space where truth speaks in a whisper. Now that we've taken the first gentle step inward, I want to invite you to sit with a card that speaks directly to your heart's hidden places, the moon. This card isn't loud. It doesn't shout the truth. Instead, it moves like a shadow across still water. Beautiful, elusive, mysterious, and sometimes misleading. The moon speaks to your intuition, yes, but it also reflects your fears, your doubts, your emotional memory. For a Cancer, this is familiar territory. Your sensitivity is your strength, but also your mirror. And sometimes that mirror distorts the light. There are nights when you feel something deeply stirring inside, a warning perhaps, or a calling. But how do you know if it's truly your intuition, or just your anxiety disguised in softer clothing? You see, fear is clever. It knows the same language as your soul. It can speak in symbols. It can whisper like intuition. It can wear the same scent as memory, as love, as longing. The moon card reminds you, not everything that feels true is truth, especially when you're tired, overwhelmed, or clinging to something that's already gone. It's in those moments that your heart may trick you gently, but deeply, not because it wants to lie, but because it wants to protect you. And that's okay. There is no shame in being afraid. There is no shame in mistaking a shadow for a sign. What matters is that you keep walking, that you learn to listen with clarity, not just with feeling. The moon does not ask you to stop feeling, it asks you to question what you feel and why. And in that questioning, your real intuition begins to rise. So if right now you're unsure, if you feel lost, caught in a fog, unsure whether to trust your gut or hold back pause, ask yourself, am I hearing love, or am I hearing fear pretending to be love? The moon will always be with you, dear Cancer. But remember, even in her brightest phase, she reflects the light of something greater, and so do you. Let's take another breath together, Cancer. Softly now. Deeper, because this next card is tender just like you. It's the Page of Cups, the dreamer, the artist, the heart-wide-open soul who believes in magic, in signs, in love that arrives with poetry instead of logic. In many ways, this page is you. The way you love, the way you listen, the way your emotions pour through your fingertips into every relationship, every moment, every word unsaid. But here's the secret the page doesn't always see. Emotions can lie too. They don't mean to, but they can. Especially when you're longing for something or someone so deeply, You begin to read messages in every silence. You begin to see signs in every coincidence. You feel a flutter in your chest and call it intuition, when sometimes it's just hope dressed up in disguise. The Page of Cups reminds us, the heart is beautiful, but it can also be impulsive, naive, willing to believe anything that makes it feel less alone. And you, Cancer, you have a heart that wants to believe. You see the best in others. You sense beauty even in broken things. You carry love like an offering and hand it to the world with trembling, trusting hands. But sometimes your gift becomes a trap. You give too quickly. You trust without grounding. You mistake intensity for intimacy. The Page of Cups doesn't warn you against feeling it, invites you to grow into emotional wisdom, to pair that sweetness with discernment, to learn when your heart is speaking and when it's just echoing someone else's emptiness. So, ask yourself gently, is this feeling guiding me forward or pulling me back into an old story? You are allowed to feel everything, dear Cancer, but not everything you feel is a message. Not every wave is the ocean calling you. Sometimes it's just the tide of your own beautiful longing, and that's okay. You're learning, you're becoming wiser. The page will grow, so will you. Let's go a little deeper now, into a space that might feel uncomfortable but necessary. Because growth doesn't always come wrapped in warmth sometimes. It arrives as a quiet confrontation. This is the lesson of the Seven of Swords. The card of strategy, of secrecy, of subtle betrayal. And today, we're not talking about someone else betraying you. We're talking about the small, silent ways you might betray yourself. I know that's hard to hear. You're kind, you mean well. But the Seven of Swords isn't about bad intentions. It's about the way we sometimes choose illusions over truth because the truth would ask us to change, to let go, to see something we're not ready to face. For a Cancer, this is especially tender. You feel everything so deeply, and that depth can become a place where you hide. You tell yourself, this connection is real, I feel it so strongly. How could it not be true? If I wait a little longer, they'll understand me. Maybe this pain is a sign that something beautiful is about to bloom. End quote. But what if it's not? What if some of those stories are coping mechanisms, beautifully crafted lies that protect your heart from crumbling? Seven of Swords asks, what are you pretending not to see? Maybe you keep reading into someone's mixed signals because admitting they don't care would hurt too much. Maybe you're ignoring your own intuition, disguising it as hope. Maybe you know what needs to be done, but you keep deferring it to next time. And it's okay. We all do this. It's not weakness. It's human. But you, dear Cancer, have reached a moment in your journey where pretending no longer serves you, where softness must meet truth, where intuition must be reclaimed from the hands of fear, fantasy, and self-deception. You don't have to blame yourself. You just have to be honest with love, not punishment. And when you do, you'll find something amazing. Your real intuition has been waiting patiently behind every lie you told to survive. Let's go meet it. And now, we return to her, the quiet one, the keeper of secrets, the stillness between your thoughts, the High Priestess. She has been here since the beginning, watching, waiting, never rushing. She doesn't shout. She doesn't beg for attention. She simply is, and she waits for the moment when you're finally ready to hear what's always been true. You see, Cancer, the High Priestess is not a voice outside of you. She is you, the part of you that knows without evidence, the part of you that feels without chaos, the part of you that doesn't need to prove or defend or explain, because she understands that truth is often silent. In a world that constantly demands noise, certainty, and fast answers, the High Priestess invites you into something sacred, Stillness. This is where real intuition is born. Not from fear, not from emotion alone, but from presence. From sitting with yourself long enough to feel what's real beneath the waves. And sometimes, when you truly listen, you'll realize that gut feeling you had, it wasn't anxiety, it was clarity. That strange discomfort, it wasn't doubt, it was your soul resisting what wasn't meant for you. That moment of peace you tried to dismiss, that was your truth, finally breathing. The High Priestess doesn't offer quick answers. She offers knowing. And knowing doesn't always arrive with joy, it can come with grief, with release, with the quiet understanding that something must end so something greater can begin. But she will never lie to you, never manipulate, never confuse you. She waits patiently for the moment you turn inward with honesty, with humility, with the courage to ask, what is real? When I remove all the noise. So today, let her lead. Let her show you how strong your intuition truly is when it's no longer clouded by fear, fantasy, or emotional fog. You already know what's true, Cancer. You always have. You just needed to remember how to listen. Now that we've touched the silence, now that the voice within you is no longer drowned in fear or fantasy, let's talk about the language of the universe. Because, dear Cancer, the universe speaks to you constantly, through feeling, through timing, through beauty and discomfort. But you're so used to feeling everything that sometimes you miss the gentle nudge that says, this moment is not random. Pay attention. You expect intuition to arrive like lightning, but often it arrives like a soft breeze brushing against your awareness. And unless you're still enough, it passes you by. Here are some signs you often overlook, signs that are real, subtle, and sacred. That small tightening in your chest when someone says something nice, but something feels off. The dream that repeats, carrying the same symbol, the same face, the same unfinished emotion. The strange calm before something big happens, as if your soul already knows what's coming. That person you can't stop thinking about for no logical reason because their energy is tangled with yours in a way you haven't yet understood. The way your body reacts before your mind can form words, goosebumps, a sigh, a shiver, a sudden wave of peace. These are not accidents. These are invitations. The universe doesn't need to shout at a soul as sensitive as yours. It only needs to whisper. But the truth is, you often doubt these moments. You overthink them. You wait for confirmation, for someone else to validate what you already felt to be true. And in doing so, the moment passes and you call it a coincidence. But there are no coincidences. Not for someone like you. You were born with antennae tuned to subtle frequency. You know when something is wrong. You sense when something is calling. You feel when something has shifted, even before anything is said. So why do you keep asking for permission to believe what you already know? This part of your journey is about trusting the quiet signals, about recognizing that the moment you felt it, it was real. You don't need to explain it to anyone. You don't need to prove it. You just need to pause, breathe, and say, I hear you. Because the universe is always speaking, and your soul was made to understand its language. By now, you've felt the whispers. You've remembered the language, but a quiet question still lingers, doesn't it? How do I know if it's intuition or just fear pretending to protect me? That's the hardest part, Cancer, because both speak softly, both live inside you, and both want to guide you, but only one leads you home. This is where the Ace of Swords enters clear, sharp, undeniable. The sword of truth. The moment when fog is cut away and only clarity remains. Intuition and fear are often confused because they show up in the same spaces when you're vulnerable, when you're sensing something unspoken, when you're standing at a threshold. But they feel very different. Fear is noisy. It rushes. It pressures. It says, hurry, or you'll miss it. Don't trust, don't try, protect yourself. It tightens your chest, makes your breath shallow, floods you with worst-case scenarios. Intuition is calm. Even when it warns you, it does so without panic. It says, something isn't right, but you're safe to listen. It brings clarity, not chaos. It may be quiet, but it always feels clean, direct, and almost oddly neutral. The Ace of Swords cuts through both illusion and noise. It doesn't speak in riddles. It doesn't ask you to chase signs. It simply arrives own moment of unmistakable knowing. Have you ever suddenly felt a thought drop into your awareness like a single clear bell? This job isn't for me. I need to walk away. End of I'm done hoping. I'm ready to move on. There was no panic in that moment. No overthinking. Just truth. That's intuition. That's your Ace of Swords. And here's something else. Fear wants to be fed. It grows the more you think. Intuition wants to be heard. And when you listen, it brings peace even if the truth is hard. So the next time you feel a message rising from within, pause. Ask yourself, is this voice rushing me or guiding me? Is this emotion cloudy or clear? Is this a spiral or a sword? Because, dear Cancer, you already hold the blade. You just have to be brave enough to draw it. And when you do, you'll realize your truth was never lostly buried beneath the noise. You've come so far in this journey, Cancer. You've faced your fear, your longing, your patterns of self-deception. You've remembered what real intuition feels like. So now, let's listen. Not just in theory, but in practice. This is your moment to tune in. Right now, gently close your eyes unless you're listening on the go, of course. Take a slow breath in and release it, like a soft tide leaving the shore. Feel your body settle. Feel your mind open. Let's ask your intuition one gentle question. What is the one truth I need to hear today? Let this question echo within you, like a drop of water falling into stillness. Now, in your mind's eye, I want you to imagine 3 cards laid before you face down. No titles, no images, just presence. Card 1, Card 2, Card 3. Don't overthink. Which one is calling to you? Take your time. Now, let's reveal their messages. If you chose Card 1, the Queen of Cups speaks. You already know what you feel. Stop asking for permission to honor it. This card reminds you, your compassion is a compass. Trust it. Let it guide your next step even if it leads you away from what once felt safe. If you chose Card 2, the Judgment card appears. It's time to awaken, time to rise, time to finally let go of who you were and become who you were always meant to be. This is a spiritual nudge, Cancer. A sign that your soul is ready to move beyond fear, beyond old roles, into truth. If you chose Card 3, the Two of Swords speaks. You are standing at a crossroads, but the silence is not confusion. It's space for you to choose with intention. This card asks you to stop waiting for the world to decide. You already hold the answer. It's time to choose. Take a deep breath again. Notice how your body responded to the message. Did your heart lift? Did your chest tighten? Did you feel peace or resistance? That's your intuition speaking. And here's the truth. This wasn't a test you could pass or fail. It was a mirror. You don't need 100 signs. You just need one still moment and the courage to trust what it brings. Let's bring it all home, Cancer. You've been listening so openly. You've softened your defense. You've remembered how to hear your own soul. Now, the cards have a message for you. Not for yesterday, not for some far-off future, but for you, in this very moment. I drew a card for your current energy, and it is the 10 of Wands. A heavy image, isn't it? A figure carrying too much, shoulders hunched, steps slow, eyes fixed on the ground. So many burdens, most of which were never theirs to carry. This card whispers something honest and raw. You're tired, Cancer. Not just physically, but soul tired. Tired of being the strong one. Tired of holding space for others while your own heart aches in silence. Tired of pretending you're okay just to keep the peace. But here's what the Ten of Wands wants you to understand. You're allowed to put it down. You don't have to carry it all anymore. You don't have to prove your worth through emotional labor. You don't have to earn love by carrying someone else's pain. Your intuition has been trying to tell you this for a while now, hasn't it? Through the aches in your body, through the quiet resentment building in your chest, through the moments when you want to disappear not because you're weak, but because you've been carrying weight that isn't yours. This card is not a punishment. It's a permission slip to rest, to release, to re-choose what you give your heart to. You are not the fixer of everyone. You are not the emotional container for those who refuse to heal. You are a sacred vessel, sensitive, yes, but not meant to be a dumping ground for others' wounds. So today, listen. Your soul is asking you to lay something down, to say, I love you, but I can no longer carry this for you. Or even, I forgive myself for thinking I had to be everything all at once. The Ten of Wands marks an ending, but it's the kind of ending that gives your spirit back its breath. You're not giving up. You're coming back to yourself. And your intuition is applauding. And now, here we are, at the end of this journey, but also at the very beginning of something more honest, more anchored, more you. You've walked through the fog of fear. You've looked your emotional patterns in the eye. You've sat in silence and listened, not with panic, not with noise, but with reverence. You felt what real intuition sounds like, not a storm, not a scream, but a steady hum beneath the surface, a knowing, a returning. And through all of it, dear Cancer, here's the truth that rises. Your intuition is not broken. It was just buried beneath the voices of fear, hope, memory, and illusion. It needed space. It needed you to come home to yourself. But before we close, there's one final piece. Yes, trust your intuition. Trust your body. Trust the way your energy reacts to people, places, and choices. But also, hold it in the light of clarity, the light of reason, the light of truth without emotion clouding the edges. Because while your intuition is sacred, it still lives in a human vessel, one that gets tired, one that gets scared, one that sometimes confuses patterns with prophecies, pain with purpose. So pause. Feel everything but filter it through awareness. If something feels off, ask, is this a wound speaking? Or wisdom? Is this a cycle repeating? Or a truth revealing itself? The real strength of a Cancer is not just in feeling deeply. It's in learning to hold both your heart and your mind like twin flames, neither one overpowering the other. You are the sacred blend of water and moonlight, of intuition and discernment, of softness and sovereignty. And today, you remembered that. So let this be your quiet vow. I will listen to the voice within me, but I will not follow it blindly. I will honor my feelings, but I will also ask them to tell me the truth. I will trust myself completely and wisely, because the truth, Cancer, is that you are your own oracle. You've always been, and now you believe it.